Oh, hello, my inquisitive chickadees. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Um, that shade fluttering through the DC breeze?
Uh-huh.
Because, darling, something's definitely getting stirred up in the political pot, and this particular aroma is giving us, well, less divine drag brunch and more disaster casserole.
Yeah.
You savvy listeners know we dive deep, and one of you just slid a juicy little nugget our way, hot off the digital presses of districtdrama.com.
Indeed. So today we're turning our attention to their report on the GOP reconciliation bill and the very real palpitations it's apparently causing within the LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
For those not in the know, districtdrama.com is sort of your go-to for the inside skinny, the local DC lowdown.
The tea.
Exactly. And this particular piece of gossip, well, it has some potentially serious implications.
Absolutely. So our mission, should we choose to sashay into it and trust we are already in full glam,
Okay.
is to really dissect this reconciliation bill, pinpoint which precious programs might be facing the fiscal guillotine, and most importantly, spill the tea on why this should concern every single one of you fabulous folks. Whether your closet is bursting with rainbows or you just, believe in basic human fabulousness.
So let's maybe lay the foundation first.
Yeah.
What exactly is a reconciliation bill? The name kind of suggests a certain coming together, doesn't it? But the reality can be rather divisive.
Coming together is about as likely as finding a sensible pair of heels in this town. Think of it as Congresses, like Express Lane, for budget-related business.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's this souped-up legislative vehicle that lets them bypass the usual Senate song and dance, the endless filibusters, and needing that whole chorus line of 60 votes.
Right. With reconciliation, a simple majority gets the party started, so to speak.
Exactly.
And that expedited process is really crucial to understand here. Because this bill is focused on budgetary matters, this sort of streamlined path significantly increases the likelihood of it actually passing.
Which definitely ups the urgency, right? And the potential fallout.
Absolutely. It heightens the potential ramifications of whatever's in the bill.
Precisely. And what delectable morsels are supposedly inside? Well, according to our fierce friends at the Human Rights Campaign, it sounds like a case of reverse Robin Hood. Their words, robbing Peter to pay Paul if Paul is a billionaire.
Wow. Okay. So their take is that this bill is pushing for some seriously opulent tax cuts for the super rich.
That's the read.
And the million-dollar question, of course, is how do these proposed tax cuts balance the books?
Exactly. Where's the money coming from?
Well, the HRC and District Drama echoes this concern with quite a bit of dramatic flair.
Oh, they do.
They point to substantial reductions in social programs and, chillingly, programs specifically catering to the LGBTQ plus community.
Right. The nerve of it is practically performance art, as District Drama so cattily put it. Like, you couldn't script this level of shade.
The framing.
But this isn't some drag show gone wrong, honey. These are actual services that throw lifelines to our community.
And as the Washington Blade has also reported, these aren't just vague threats whispered in the cloakroom, apparently. The proposed cuts seem laser-focused on very specific and, frankly, essential areas of support for LGBTQ plus folks.
All right, let's get down to the dazzlingly dreadful details then. What's on this alleged hit list? Brace yourselves, because it's a parade of pivotal provisions.
Okay.
First up, mental health services. And darlings, we know how utterly vital access to affirming mental health care is.
Absolutely critical.
Particularly for our LGBTQ plus younglings who sadly face, disproportionately high levels of anxiety and despair. Organizations like the Trevor Project, they shine a harsh spotlight on this very real need.
Yeah, and cuts here could mean fewer resources at community mental health centers, right? Places that are often lifelines, especially for LGBTQ plus youth.
Exactly, lifelines.
Okay, what else?
Sashaying right alongside mental health are substance use disorder treatment programs.
Another critical area. Ensuring culturally competent care there is paramount, and slashing funds puts that access in serious jeopardy.
Totally. Then, honey, we have HIV/AIDS initiatives.
Oh, wow.
Decades of fierce advocacy and hard-won progress in prevention, testing, treatment, all could be devastatingly derailed by these cuts. It's like we're being asked to moonwalk backwards in time.
Undermining years of progress, that's true.
Right. And tragically, housing and homelessness prevention programs are also reportedly facing the chopping block.
And we know LGBTQ plus individuals, especially the youth, experience a significantly elevated risk of homelessness.
Oh, massively. These programs provide crucial safe havens, support networks, Cutting them feels cruel.
It really does.
And let's not forget community violence intervention programs. These play an indispensable role in safeguarding LGBTQ+ lives, particularly our trans sisters of color.
Vital work.
As District Drama so vividly put it, imagine a colossal pair of shears emblazoned with GOP reconciliation bill poised to snip these vital lifelines.
Oof, that gives you the chills, doesn't it?
It really does.
And it's critical to understand that the repercussions of these federal funding cuts, if they happen, wouldn't just be confined to the Beltway.
Oh, absolutely not.
These programs frequently rely on federal dollars to function at the state and local level all across the country.
Exactly. So a fiscal flick of the wrist in D.C. sends shockwaves, doesn't it? It leaves local orgs scrambling with drastically fewer resources to care for their communities.
Right. Even a city like D.C., which, prides itself on its inclusivity,
Loves to wave that flag.
would feel this pinch acutely.
It's such a sobering reminder that progress isn't some permanent accessory, It demands constant care and fierce protection. Work.
Well said. Now, it's also important to acknowledge, just for balance, that those championing this bill might frame these reductions differently.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Let me guess. Fiscal responsibility.
That's generally the framing, yes. Fiscal responsibility, getting spending under control.
Oh, darling. Fiscal responsibility is the new nude, isn't it? Always in vogue when it's time to cut community support.
Okay. Well, District Drama and others shrewdly point out the potential boomerang effect, right? The impact on long-term costs.
Oh, so?
Well, slicing these programs now doesn't necessarily lead to savings in the grand finale. Often these kinds of cuts can actually lead to increased burdens later on.
Ah, okay. Like on emergency services, hospitals.
Exactly. Emergency services, hospitals, law enforcement, not to mention the profound and, frankly, immeasurable human cost.
Think about it, my dears. If a young, fierce LGBTQ+ soul loses access to a vital support center because of these cuts,
Yeah.
the potential tragic outcomes, heightened risk of suicide, substance abuse, homelessness, they're just heartbreaking. The National LGBTQ Task Force has consistently illuminated these very disparities for years.
Systemic disparities, yeah. It's a serious concern. So, faced with this reporting, what can actually be done? How can people maybe throw a stylish wrench in these plans? District Drama concludes their piece with a pretty clear call to action. And it's something we should probably all internalize.
You got it, Sugar Plum. Step 1. Arm yourselves with knowledge. Get informed. And then spread the word like glitter at a pride parade.
Okay. Information is key.
Talk about this with everyone in your orbit. Let them know what dazzlingly dreadful stakes we might be facing.
And secondly, connect with your elected officials, your senators, your representatives.
Yes. Make your voices heard loud and clear. Tell them you oppose these proposed cuts and the potential harm they could inflict. Your advocacy carries real weight. Don't forget it.
Absolutely. And finally, they suggest, and it makes sense, shower some love and support on the organizations actually on the front lines.
Like HRC, the Trevor Project.
Your local LGBTQ plus community centers.
Yeah.
They're the fierce warriors doing the vital work, and they desperately need resources to keep fighting the good fight, especially if federal funds are threatened.
Couldn't agree more. Support your local divas.
So, okay, to just recap our deep dive here.
Yeah.
The GOP reconciliation bill, at least as reported by DistrictDrama.com and echoed by others, poses a significant potential threat to a wide spectrum of programs, providing essential support for the LGBTQ plus community.
Through proposed federal funding reductions, yeah.
And it's really crucial to grasp the power and the potential peril of that reconciliation process itself.
That fast track.
That expedited legislative tool that could allow these changes to glide through with potentially minimal debate.
Scary stuff.
Which I think begs a rather pointed question for you, the listener, to consider.
Ooh, leave us with a thought, honey.
What are the genuine long-term societal costs of prioritizing tax breaks for the wealthiest while potentially jeopardizing the well-being and safety nets for vulnerable populations?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It goes way beyond budget spreadsheets. What kind of society does that?
It's something to think about.
Indeed, my glamorous gorillas. So, stay informed, stay fierce, and stay utterly fabulous. This conversation is far from its grand finale, and your engagement is more dazzlingly important than ever. Now go out there and sprinkle a little resistance.